Alright, so now that we have our displacement set up, let's go into our particles. Let's add another shader for our particles. Let's call this, duplicate this and call this ocean foam. And let's apply this ocean foam to our foam particles. We can view these particles now. And let's apply the material, ocean foam. And we're going to have to transform it up because we've transformed both of our other nodes by, well, our surface we've transformed up a value of 5. So we want to make sure to do that as well in our ocean foam. And I've actually found that to view a little bit more of our beach from our mountain, I found that I'm going to transform the ocean and the foam down to 3. That'll just help us view a little bit more of the beach and not have the water so high. Alright, so we've got our foam here and we've got our particles. So one thing in our Redshift tab here, we've got a particles tab, and then we want to select render object as particles, and we've got a global scale multiplier. So this is going to be the size of our particles. And so this is going to be a trial and error, but I found that a value of 0.5 is good to start rendering our particles here. And so let's just kind of zoom in maybe a little bit closer here. Okay, and now let's go into our foam and let's just kind of delete all this stuff here. Well, we can delete the displacement. I'm just going to create, let's delete everything in here. So I just wanted to create a material. Plug this in to our surface. Our material is just going to have a diffuse color of white. And we can turn the reflection down. Actually, I'm going to turn the reflection off. So first of all, we want to pull in the life attribute of our particles. So if we just grab another point attribute, here we can grab the actual attribute that we're looking for. So we're going to grab the life. And if we just kind of look at what's the maximum life of our particles here. So let's just select our particles and go into the geometry spreadsheet. And here we can view all the attributes here. So the one thing I want to pull in is life. So we got 3.75. All right, let's go into our ocean foam and our scene view. So what I want to do is create a ramp to have the life of our particles kind of expire as they die out. And the out color, let's expand this. I want to put this into the opacity color. So they're going to just disappear based on their life. And we can determine where in their life from the ramp here. Alright, so the maximum life of our particles is 3.75. So let's throw down a math range. Let's type in range and a change range. Let's plug this in, and our old range is 0 to 3.75. And we're going to remap that from 0 to 1. And we're plugging that into the opacity. Alright, so let's just open up our render view. And let's take a render. Alright, so here we have our particles on our water. It's taking a while, so I'm going to select a selection here. And I'm going to choose bucket rendering so we can make sure to view it at the highest quality, because this is quite pixelated. So alright, so it looks like our texture doesn't seem to be working, and that's because we need to invert the ramp. So let's just save this image and let's invert this ramp. So here you go. You can see that we are indeed fading off the lifespan a little bit, or based on the lifespan. So we know that's working. All right, so we can also plug this into, let's see, we could duplicate this and plug this into the color. So we can plug that in base diffuse color. And now we could color this based on the life as well. So maybe we want a white that's going in towards the end of its life, a kind of darker color like that. So based on the life, it's fading out and it's also getting darker, which is going to help it fade off as well. We could also plug this into, you know, anything. We could plug it into the specular, the reflection, the translucence. But because we're so far away here, I figure that this is all we need. So finally I want to match up, and I need to refresh the viewport because again you can see that camera issue, that kind of bug that's happening. But finally I want to kind of match the foam from our texture with the foam from our particles a little better. So I'm just going to do that via our ramp here. And I think it's more about this color. Let's delete that white. More of a bluish color, just like that. All right, so with that in mind, I'm going to take a full render and let's refresh the IPR and render that fully up. All right, guys, so here's our final render of our ocean foam, and it looks pretty great. You can really see all the detail from the displacement, and we've got two different types of foam going in there, one from the cusp attribute of the ocean itself, and one from the particles that we generated. And so you can decide to use either or way to use your foam or combine them. Or I think I'll use both, and I'll maybe just reduce the final diffuse intensity of our texture. So in our ocean here, I'm going to I can reduce the overall range max, or I can reduce the color of the whole thing. But I'm going to reduce that, but everything else I like. So now that we've got our mountain and our pyro and our ocean set up, now let's go on to setting up our clouds.